fellow traders, 'tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Friday, January the 17th, the year's 2020. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. Okay, I know today and before today, this week, each trader has used risk management on each and every trade. Your size was correct, and you had your stop loss where you needed it to be. So you wouldn't lose any more on any particular trade than you're willing to lose. Of course, boys and girls, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. And you also know trading is risky. So if you need trading advice, financial advice, investing advice, seek out an accredited financial professional. That way, if your money is lost, you know you got your advice from an accredited financial professional rather than some guy you heard on a YouTube video or somewhere else on the internet or in the locker room. Okay, disclaimers out of the way. For the week, the one pair that didn't fill the gap was the dollar yen. It missed it by such a small amount, but it was a miss nonetheless. Last week's close was 109.50, and it says this week's low was 109.50, but according to the formula, it didn't go below it. So I guess maybe I can change that equation that it was less than or equal to in this case, but it looked like a miss to me. Actually, no, here we have the close of last week was 109.50, and the low of this week was 109.50. So I guess technically it closed the gap. Oh, wait a minute. We've got another one that didn't close the gap right here. I guess I didn't see that. Sometimes it takes time for the computer to download all the information. So it looks like the pound Swiss franc also missed a gap. But 2 out of what, 28 isn't bad. We put in a new yearly high today, Friday. We're now 14 pips off that high. Oh, and for the trader that likes the euro, you can see here we're 114 pips below the low. Now, once again, this big candle, we return to the open, but I'm looking at this one right here for future reference. Right now, we're right at the daily open. So you can see it looks like we might put in a doji up at the top. The last time we did that, price went up. But we will just trade the horizontal lines as we see them. Looking at the H1 chart here on the weekly, we only had a couple opportunities on Monday to take advantage of that weekly open. Remember, price has to range, and for the month it's range 263, average 302. Inside bar, no trades on the dollar yen, but let's look at our friend here on the euro dollar. As you can see, it's approaching the inside bar from 17 bars ago. It's only 1 pip above. Daily range, we've got 4 over 100, only 24 on dollar yen, euro dollar 48, twice that of the dollar yen. We put in the yearly H1 highest open here 14 hours ago. We actually went through the daily H1 lowest open this hour, came back. For you holo traders, and this hour we took out the pivot. And as you can see, buy zone trades, we just don't have the range today. So since we don't have the range, rats don't get any cheese. Showing again, we took out the daily pivot. Weekly pivot, on the other hand, we did not take out. So once again, we missed that daily pivot just by a hair so far. Looks like 7-pip miss. Oh, and in case you're wondering, this is high minus the open, 5 pips, low minus the open, 17 pips. It just shows you if you start at the open and if you were trading towards the pivot, would you have had an opportunity to make money? So here, open minus the pivot point, that means the pivot point is below. So there was a chance to, since we know it took it out, well, this isn't even today. This is a couple days ago, the 15th. So today's the 17th. So right here, which something looks off. Why does that say open minus pivot point? Oh, yeah, because the pivot was above. So if you started at the open, then you would have had an opportunity to pick up about 3 or 4 pips. You think, remember the spread. So right there, even if you traded towards it, even though it missed it, except that's not a missed pivot right now. But it missed it that day and took it out the next day. So on that day, it was a missed pivot, but it's been filled now. So you would have had an opportunity to pick up about 3 or 4 pips. Okay, now today, only 25 pip range, but you see, price started out here, and it just can't stay between the 20 and the 10. If it's 25, I mean, there's 15 pips. Has to be made up on the other side. So this is why these horizontal line trades close to where price starts usually can yield you a profit. Wick zone, you can see a bunch of in and outs. Once again, off the previous day's high, just trading the way the H1 candle color is moving, proved to be profitable. Einstein line, I just opened this trading profile. See, we had a trigger, and now we'd be up about a pip or so. And for traders who trade heavy size, a couple pips could be a few $100s. So sometimes you just don't sniff at the pips. And you can see here, we've just moved up about 2 pips. As you can see here, we had a pretty ranged bound week. We got to the minimum or half the minimum ATR. Actually, we got to half of the maximum ATR for the week, plus the weekly open here. But you can see we did not hit the ATR zone. Range today, 24. Range for the week, 78. Average range over the last 24 weeks was 139.8. So, once again, pretty much range bound. On the daily, looking at some of the highs and lows to be taken out for price to expand. You can even drop this down to the hourly, and you can see just by that bunches where all these lows have been got taken out by this bar right here. These lows, these lower wicks, or actually these lows got taken out. Oh, this is just a chart for the updated TRO dashboard. Yeah, I'll probably be sending it out next week, most likely. So then all you traders with the 2017 dashboard will get the newest version with the latest functions. So higher high, higher low, or higher high, lower low, or higher low indications right here. It's funny because I had this as one indicator, but since it was only one object, I couldn't do two colors, so I had to split it up. I just thought it looked better this way. And for the trader that was asking me, they were trying to trade something that started off with a period, and the computer picked it up, and then you hit the button and everything goes away. That's just because of the code, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure that one out easily. Because number one, I won't be able to test it because I don't have that broker. But some brokers, for some strange reason, are starting their pairs off, their pair symbols, with a dot. Really drives us programmers crazy. You know, as a trader, doesn't matter. As a coder, it's just like, why would you do that? I mean, I don't even know why some of these brokers even do it at all. Why they have to have suffixes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I know sometimes they have it. If you trade a full lot, the symbol looks like this. If you trade a mini, it's got the suffix on it, and it's just a mess. I would probably have to rewrite the routine that figures out what the pairs are. It might be the simplest way of doing it, but like I said, it would be a total rewrite of that routine. So anyway, that pretty much wraps up the week. I'm trying to remember if there was any questions. I think I answered them. Oh, one trader was asking me, how do I trade? What indicators do I use? Well, I think I show the indicators I use every day, but basically, you know, it's all about the horizontal lines. I mean, whether it's highs and lows, whether it's ATRs or the open, that's it. You know, we have just these lines, and so I look at what's happening and what's available. Maybe I might just be fading a pivot. But once again, you know, that's a horizontal line. It's a target. So from the open to the pivot, I look to take that trade, bias, and that's pretty much it. You know, the wick zones, I'll trade a wick zone because once again, these are just horizontal lines. I mean, high, top, bottom, low of the previous candle. So I'm not sure. If you have a more specific question, feel free to ask and I will answer. So have a safe week. I hope, and have a safe weekend. Hope you had a profitable week. And that's it.